So I think the challenges of living with CHD from our perspective is just trying to make Harry have a normal as life as he can possibly have, which has its challenges and has had its challenges when certainly Harry was told that I couldn't play football anymore. We have to adapt. I think you just have to find other ways to distract from that, and I hope we've done that.
As the person that's got it, the worst thing that the parent, what I find, was if mum was to wrap me in cotton wool and say, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do that, I wouldn't have been able to go out with my friends, do what I want to do, play football. I still play football now, but just not as big a pitch. So I used to play 11-a-side, but because of the pressure and the exercise that was needed for it, I couldn't do it. But play 5-a-side now twice a week, and it's dandy, it's fine. So I enjoy it. Keeps me fit as well.
Challenges that come with Isabella's heart condition. It's quite difficult, is that one, because you sort of just get on, because I'm used to everything. Like if she gets cold and she goes blue, but I'm used to that, so you sort of put an extra 2 layers on so that you avoid it. And bath time, she gets cold really easily in the bath, obviously, and obviously when you get her out of the bath, you've got to get her dry quickly so she doesn't get cold. But because it's all what we're used to now, it's not really an issue, if that makes sense. So she's in and out of the bath fairly quickly, dried fairly quickly. If we're out and we know it's going to be cold, there's extra layers that go on. While she's chasing her friends, going up and down stairs and things like that, we know that she's got limits with that, because she pants quite heavily after short, doesn't really run around for very long. But like I say, a lot of it we're just used to her way.
I think the main challenge in terms of how it's affected our lives is how we kind of deal with it and the perspective that we take on a day-to-day basis. We made a kind of decision a long time ago that we didn't want it to define him. We didn't want it to be kind of, when people met Evan, it was the boy with the heart condition. But it's getting the balance right, so we treat him on a day-to-day basis just like any other normal child, and we kind of try and make sure his childminder and the nursery he goes to do exactly the same thing. But it's just getting the balance right, that you don't also let it go, and that it's still a reminder that sometimes he is a little bit different still. I mean, he doesn't have any day-to-day limitations. He has no medication. He doesn't deal with a cold very well, so sometimes you can all of a sudden be reminded when he goes a little bit blue if he's a little bit cold. And if he's poorly, we tend to be a little bit more overly cautious with Evan.
If I stop myself from doing things, that's when I can't do it. If I want to do it, I'll do it. I'll give it a go, 100%. The only stuff I can't do is what the doctors tell me I can't do, which tends to be contact sport. But even then, it's just stuff like rugby and things like that, because like I say, I still play football, and you just can't be stopped, because otherwise you just wouldn't do anything.
I wonder whether, as well, living with CHD, I don't know whether it's Harry seems to have a bigger thirst for life and adrenaline than, I don't know, some of his friends, if I was doing a comparison to them. So it's like an extra point, really, that I've got to prove and do things and live life to the full, because I've been in a situation where I've had to deal with open heart surgery and life-threatening surgery. So he has got, I think, this huge sense of life is for living, and it is a cliche that everybody says, but I think when you're 15 and faced with that, it's a reality. So Harry's perspective on life, I think, is one really that should be admired, and we should all probably take a leaf out of his book to some extent for living life like that.
I don't think there'll be anything that she won't be able to do. Obviously things are going to limit her, so where like sports are concerned, although if she's anything like me, she'll probably love the excuse to get out of PE. But I don't think there'll be much. She'll probably put her own limits on things. And at the moment, obviously, I'm just holding her back a little bit just to remind her that she can't run up the stairs or run after her brothers like she probably wants to do.
But I think living with it as well, you have to learn and adjust. And I think you have to, as particularly as they get to be adults, you have to let them find what their restrictions are. Because particularly being a parent, the more you tell them, the more they don't listen to you when they get older. So you have to let them find their own way.
Don't do that anyway.
No.
I don't get much sympathy from mum at all. Sorry, mum. I'm just saying. No, they're really supportive. Without them, there's no way us guys could face what we do. That's just impossible. If I was on my own, like I've started to go to hospital on my own now, because obviously I can drive. I'm getting older, and mum's working, so I sort of had to go on my own now. But without them and the support you've got coming from them, I know it sounds silly, but even when you get the cards, you get cards from everyone saying, I hope you get better soon, but it's reading through them and seeing who they're from and how many you've got that gets you through. Even if you read one a day to get you through 3 weeks or 2 weeks, you're getting through it. So no, without them I wouldn't have been able to do it. None of us would. I think the impact that my conditions had on the family is probably more just, I don't know, just made it harder for them than it's probably, in some respects, it's probably harder for them than it is for me. Because they're the ones that have got to constantly keep that one eye on me, whereas for me, I'm living with it, I'm sort of blasé to it, to be honest with you. Obviously, I take it and go, yeah, can't do this, can't do that, but it's them guys that have to watch out, and if I'm being stupid, it's mum that goes, clip round the ear, what you doing, you silly sod. So I think it's a lot harder for them in that respect than it is for me, to be honest. Don't you think?
I think sometimes, and people say that a lot, don't they? It's often harder for the families that are living with it than the actual person having to deal with it, because they just get on with it. But yeah, I think you just do what you need to do, really, to get through it.
Get on with it. I know it sounds bad, but it's literally, you just have to go through it. There's nothing, the more you think about it, the more you play it in your mind, it's just going to become repetitive, and it will just stop you from doing things that you want to do. So you literally just have to just go with it, sort of go with the flow.